as a person, they're going to be more inclined to want to work with you. So that's my suggestion.
Krista, how do you network within all of your different spheres? In your neighborhood, do they know you? In your school, do they know you? How does all of that work?
Like Erin, I have small kids who are in the school, the local school system, and yeah, a lot of the neighborhood community knows who I am, but a lot of it is because of my kids. I do market directly to our neighborhood. Every month I'm sending something out. It's information. Sometimes it's about the school. Sometimes it's about the community. Sometimes it's market stats. I never talk about what I do at school when I'm dropping them off, but I'm very active behind the scenes at school. So every year for the auction, I'll sponsor the photo booth. So my name is up there, but I'm never actually talking about it. And I get so much business from doing that, from kind of just my cards go out, and then people see me on the playground and they'll come up to me and say, oh, I just got your card. That was really, really interesting. And I don't even have any idea who these people are. And that, for some reason, has really worked with me to build that local community presence. So I'm very, it's very passive. It's not aggressive, but it's still out there. And then also at the school, I use a personal email account for school, and but I put a little tiny signature on there, not like my work one, but just, you know, Krista Miller, Realtor, blah, blah, blah. And that has also helped. So I don't, you know, just little tiny touches is something that's helped build my school community network. Do you have a question, Eric?
Well, Susan.
Oh, why not me?
Eric and I are making sour faces.
I know, right? And I'll say something about that elevator pitch too, is, you know, I'm a product of BNI and all the networking and all of that stuff, where you learn to have an elevator pitch. I mean, hello, my name is Krista Miller. I'm a residential real estate agent with Berkeley Hills Realty. Blah, 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 blah. And it's just totally canned. So when I first meet somebody and they're asking, oh, you know, what do you do or whatnot, I've tried it all to figure out what I'm comfortable with. I wore some rockin' shoes once, and so I'd say, oh, you know, I'm a real estate agent, and I just got these crazy shoes. I was trying to see if they would help, blah, blah, blah. I've tried everything to figure out what works. And what works is just being really quiet. So kind of going back to that introvert-extrovert thing, I'm kind of an introvert when I'm talking about myself and what I do, and I've just been pretty successful with doing that. So just kind of quiet and
I would also add,
very low key. And I'm more interested in other people. I'm more interested. I want to know about you. I want to know about you. I don't care about me. I already know about me. I want to know about you. So
what's really good about that too, about being the quiet in a team or in an environment, and this is coming up, so I just want to say it, is that, you know, Aaron brought up that it was amazing time that he was at the school playground and they asked him about his listings, or him about, if you start to build a fan base, then sometimes the fan base helps talk about you, and it's so much more genuine when someone else is sort of bringing you out of your shell in that way. And it's also a really good reason for partners. If you have a partner in real estate, it's really great opportunity for you to talk about your partner and say, this person's really great, and vice versa, and it feels more genuine than saying, I'm Krista Miller and I'm a real estate powerhouse and all of those things. Eric, what was your question going to be?
It was about Cece's email campaign, because I get those emails.
Yes, and I gave you a shout out too for your very fine dining experience and recommendations. Because he's the guy to go to. If you need a restaurant recommendation, oh.
Don't be shy and introverted.
He's also a really good real estate agent. I did a deal with him last year. It was awesome.
Is that a service that helps you put together those emails? Or?
Oh, Paragon puts out an email newsletter. We have, I call him the elf in the closet, and he generates this email newsletter. It has really good content. The style is slightly dry, so I take it, tweak it, pick and choose the charts, and then just use my own voice. If anybody wants the newsletter, it's a rockin' newsletter. I mean, that's what people tell me all the time. Maybe there's some people that hate it. But if you hate it, I don't want to work with you anymore. So please give me your card, and I'm happy to put you on my list.
Do you have anything while you have the mic that, I'm just thinking of things that are sort of signature, and Krista does her photo booth every year. Do you have anything that's sort of your signature card you leave, or something that's not maybe traditional? Newsletter, I mean, your newsletters.
Yeah, so the email, and then the client gifts are a big deal to me, and I am really trying to put into a firm, committed practice, gifts to referrals. So you're gonna get a 4-piece, an 8-piece, or a 12-piece, or a 20-piece chocolate from, I don't know how to say it, you know how to say it, I
Well,
bet.
you
Red Chiuti.
Well, you gave me.
You got like a Starbucks card.
Yeah, but then we have.
I'm up my game.
Yeah, but I was used to getting those like $5 Starbucks cards. that you
How
just
much
use
was
one
it?
time.
Was it more?
It was a lot.
Oh, good.
It was just in their drawer.
No, I do. I would go out and, yeah, I think it was like a 25 one, but you know, I went to, how do you say it, Red Chiuti? The fancy one, yeah. I got,
Send me some anytime.
okay, I will. So they have my name on them. I'm kind of excited. They got my logo and my name. So I sort of bought them in bulk. So you get these truffles and they've got my name on them. It's sort of a little ego thing. I don't know. But it's fun and it's memorable. And I give them now to anybody with whom I have, if you give me a referral and I actually connect with the person and have a conversation with the person, then I am trying very hard to put in practice an automatic 4-piece. I have an assistant. I'm just like, find this person, figure out their address, send them a 4-piece.
Yeah, while we're on the topic of client gifts or referral gifts, I totally agree. And I think you have to be really cognizant with your gifts. Like the $5 Starbucks gift certificate, like when I have a lender who's giving that to me, like I hate Starbucks coffee, you know, and it's $5, and I just, you know, referred you a client that you're gonna earn $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 from. It's just, it's not so much the value of it, it's more the lack of personality. So what I really try to do, and this is another place where Facebook comes in hand, is I really try to do thank you gifts that are in some way personalized to the person that they're going to. And that can be really difficult, and one of the challenges that I've had is I'll get stuck in analysis paralysis because I want the A+ gift. And that's a really hard thing to, like, you know, figure out and come to. So if you settle with at least finding something that's going to be, you know, an A- or a really solid B+, but it's something that's unique and is genuine. So I have a woman in the city who refers me a lot of business, and a couple of weeks ago I put together a spa day package for her. So it was like $200 gift certificate at a local spa, a really nice bottle of champagne, and a gift certificate to a really nice restaurant. It was like kind of like a spa package in a box. I did another one for clients recently. I did date night in a box. So I got them a little box, and we put in a gift certificate to a really great restaurant, a gift certificate to a local grocery store so they can buy dinner for their kids, and then $60 in cash for the babysitter. And it was like, here's everything that you need, date night in a box. Like it's thoughtful. There's some creativity that goes into it, and you know it costs like $200 or something like that. But they referred me, you know, a really awesome new buyer, and so. It's things like that that are definitely memorable. The challenge is that, you know, is actually being able to accomplish them, because I've definitely fallen off and then it doesn't happen. And I also think it's really critical to reward somebody with when they refer you business, not when you close it. You know, because you want to reward the action of somebody referring you business, not the fact that it's 4 months later and, oh, I sold that person a house, and you know, here's a $5 gift certificate to Starbucks, thanks. You know, it's like, I really appreciate you thinking about me. I've spent some time thinking about you, and I hope you enjoy this gift.
Wait, while you
Oh, I want to say something.
I love the $5 Starbucks gift certificates. I have no problem giving them. I have no problem getting them because I love coffee. And you may not like them, but when I send out a card, and I don't send them to agents, but if I get a referral from a client or somebody, I will automatically send them that $5 card. But what I'll say is, you know how much I love my coffee. I love you. You're amazing. Blah blah blah. If you don't like it, pass it on to a friend or something like that. I don't have the time to think about these amazing gifts. Those are so amazing. I do not even. I mean, the fact that I got my kids out the door and that I'm at the office dressed is amazing. So I have stacks of these cards because it's easy, and so for me it's okay. But then when I do close that transaction, I send cash. I send a check to people. Tracy didn't hear that. You heard that. But it's not a RESPA violation because they but I do that because it's easy for me. And so it's more important to me that I have something right at my desk to be able to just throw it in an envelope and send it to somebody than to worry about what it is. So for me, I'm happy to take anybody's $5 Starbucks card because I'll go use it myself. So,
Great.
Yeah.
So you can keep them in mind for this question too. Aaron, when he was saying that, he was saying it's hard to keep up. So I heard that it's great to just have something easy in your drawer. But also, do you have in general any systems that help you with following up with your sphere? Or where do you put somebody new that you met that you want to keep in touch with? And how do you, let's talk about systems a little bit, because those will be some good takeaways for the board.
there are none.
I'm really.
Oh, you have so many
Not
systems.
that great.
I have a ton of systems, but nothing works beautifully. I mean, I think it's a constant change, you know, as you change and your business changes, the products that are available change, and that is a hard thing to do. Rosie and I hired somebody to handle our marketing for us, so we do have somebody, we have an assistant on the back end that helps us, but it doesn't matter if you're really, you know, doing 8 or 10 transactions or 20 transactions, you really need somebody to help keep you on target. You can't be everything, you know, you just can't. So some of the systems that we have, you know, as I'm growing a team, so for me it's a little bit different, but I have a team and partner that we all have to figure out these systems and figure out what works. And so that's the other thing about systems is that you give it 3 months, and if it doesn't work, we move on and we'll find something else. So we're always trying to change things. We had started using Insightly, which is you can use it for email, for
CRM.
it's basically a CRM. And we were using it and we realized, oh my gosh, we're paying this monthly fee for it, and we really need to hire somebody just to manage it because it's so robust. So it's not working. We got to kill that. We got to do something else. But the one system that has consistently worked is using Google Docs. So the Google, for us with a team, we have a team calendar, we have team spreadsheets, we have team everything. So that is one system that is consistently working with, we have our marketing goals and our networking and our this and our pipeline, and everything is on there so that we can all have access to it at any time from any device. Laptop, phone, watch, whatever.
This is how we stay in touch with like the ABC thing, right?
Well, no, just a system.
Because I'm messy too. I mean, the best I've been able to come up with so far is when I really got it together, I've got my whiteboard with the names of the people that are most important to stay in touch with, kind of those A's. And then, you know, you get off track. And so I just, the consistency with the emails, and then that whiteboard has helped me. I also have things, we have Rapatoni for our MLS. I have a way to set up my contacts. It's extremely primitive, it's really messy, but it's there. And I have my contacts sort of like laddered. So I have to set it up so their last name is like A. Seller Brown, A. Seller Castaneda, so that they come up at the top. And so I have folders and I know when there's new stuff and I can send them off new stuff.
I want you to still copy that onto an Excel spreadsheet or a Google Docs.
I have I have that spreadsheet, and we try to send charts on a regular basis, market activity charts. Anything of interest about the market, I try to send to the people that are kind of like those B people that are eventually going to turn into A's. And then the A's, I just try to touch, you know, the people that are going to do something in the next 6 months. It's like, I touch them very, very consistently. They're the whiteboard people.
So wait, just keep it for a
Yeah.
second, because I resonate with that. We all fall
Okay.
down on, what do you do to recover from that? Is there?
Clean up my personal life.
That's sometimes very
Well, it's like
helpful.
I'm being vulnerable. No, it's when I say it's like I need to get back on this. I need to get back on this. I had some things that sidetracked me, and I went and I cleaned them up. And I'll go ahead and be extra vulnerable. I posted this. I think I hired a psychic, And we did a clearing, and she told me I needed to take care of something. I didn't know what it was, and then I figured it out, and I took care of it, and it was a revelation. And my business like quadrupled in about 3 weeks. It was mind-boggling.
Congratulations.
It was
on both the
weird.
clearing and the.
But, and I saw a direct correlation between how this personal situation was holding me back. I mean, it was suddenly the light bulb went on, and it's like, oh, wow. And so my production is right up back where it should be now. It's just like, it's been amazing. So what was the question?
It started out with systems.
Oh yeah, clean up my
Different
personal life.
cleaning.
Sorry. Oh God, I just got way off
When
track.
things drop, how do you recover, how do you get the ball back up in the air?
It's a mindset. I also have a coach, and there was one right after I hired her last year, and I credit her to just my business just went woo like that after I hired her. And one of the first calls I had with her, I just felt like I was having one of those days where I just wanted to fold into myself like a little piece of origami. And she talked me right out of it, and it felt like she just lifted me right out of the armchair I was sitting in and got me motivated. And she had some words tied to how the mind is the strongest muscle in the body. And it's about attitude. It's about, before I can get any of this other stuff done, where it's like I should all over myself, I just need to change my attitude and move into that space of abundance and light and energy and motivation. And once I'm there, those other things will start to happen.
So can I ask you if you're willing to share the name of it? Like, I want the audience to have great takeaways.
Oh, my resources,
No,
like my
sure.
psychic and my coach. The psychic also does clearings on listings. Like I used to hire, you guys are just like, you'll never refer business to me. Because even my sellers don't know that I do this unless they're kind of apt to buy into it. But I don't even tell them. And she needs to know the birth dates these days, whatever possible, of the sellers. And so try finding that without letting your seller know. You have to go on Facebook and ferret around. And,
Crystal.
yeah, oh God, that's right. Okay, anyway,
Crystal's your crystal ball.
she is a stitch and a half, and I'm happy to tell you stories about her. Her name is Alexis Summerfield. She works somewhere in the 925 area code. She works remotely. You just give her an address. Go figure. I don't know. I don't want to not do it because it always seems to work. And then the coach that I have is Linda McLean. She works out of Nevada. And she's not one of those, she's not like a Mike Ferry coach. She's not like the kind of coach who's like, okay, let's look at your prospecting activities this week. How many calls did you make? How many people did you touch? How many cards did you give out? How many listing appointments? Like, do not make me do that anymore. That worked really well for me when I was younger, and I just had a different approach to my business. But this woman she talks about looking at your business from the 30,000 foot level down. And so when I get that broader perspective, it creates that space and that openness and that light for me that I need.
Great. Aaron, systems, coaches.
Yeah.
psychics, all of the above.
So I have a really similar situation as Krista. I did Zoho and a lot of these other sort of CRMs and everything, and I reverted back to Google Docs. It is fluid, it is free, it is mobile, it works, you can use it with everybody. And so what I have a full-time assistant as well. We have just a spreadsheet where we have all of our business broken down as far as the listings that we have coming on the market, listings that we're going after. We have what's called a watch list, so if we have a buyer who's interested in writing an offer on a property, we list that property and the offer date. So it's sort of like the priorities as far as, so we can go down the list, and the things that are it goes from urgent and important to not urgent and not important, sort of on that scale. So we use Google Docs a lot. We use it for all of our files. It's everything's in there. It's accessible everywhere. It's a really great tool, and it's flexible, where all these other systems tend to be varying degrees of rigid. So I really like Google Docs. As far as other systems, I think something that's super critical to do is to delegate. I think paying an escrow coordinator $250 or $300 or whatever it is for a deal is the best investment you ever make in your entire life, even if you're doing especially if you're doing a lot of transactions. So we have an escrow coordinator at my company that we're required to use, and we have to pay them. But they are worth more than their weight in gold. Same thing for marketing, and I also think really you delegate out the parts that you don't like to do, because you're not going to be good at them, or you're not going to be great at them. You might be okay at them, but you're not going to be great. So my assistant that I brought on recently, she's managing a lot of the preparation on our listings, doing some of the stuff that I just, it's not It's not where I want to be spending all of my time. I want to be spending my time speaking with clients and servicing my business, not just sort of, you know, calling the painter and making sure that the, you know, second coat of paint is on. So as far as other systems go, I would say that's sort of the main sort of systems that we use. As far as keeping in track with clients, I think a lot of it also just still is here. I mean, to a certain extent, I think you have to write stuff down so you don't lose track of it, but you just have to be on it, you know, and just really, as part of this business, is you gotta be, you know, focused on sort of working your business and keeping it in your head. As far as coaches, I do have a coach that I work with on a weekly basis. She is not a real estate coach, she's more of a life coach. Sort of talking about energy and sort of, you know, business planning and things like that, and she's fantastic. I think that, you know, it's sort of similar to having a therapist, like somebody just to sort of speak to and unload and kind of have a reality check with, and I think that's a really important component of life. Other systems that I think are really important are maintaining your personal life. I do a date night with my wife every other Friday where we get a babysitter and we go out to have dinner, because it's really easy to become extremely unbalanced in this industry. It's very simple to work 7 days a week, you know, 10 plus hours a day, and even if you're not working, you're going to be thinking about it anyway, so you have to build in those off times. I try to take Saturdays off. I'm almost religious about it. I just, you know, I have to have some time with my family. And if you make that decision up front and you just say, sorry, Saturday's my day off, I'm happy to meet with you on Sunday, everybody respects it. None of my clients call me on Saturdays, you know, none of them email me on Saturdays. They're out doing their things, and Sunday is a full-fledged work day. I do work 6 days a week, absolutely, but I think that, you know, one of the things that my coach says is that it's sort of like in the airplane. If the plane's going down and the little airbags, you know, come out, you got to put your own mask on first before you help somebody else. So if you're not taking care of yourself, how can you take care of anybody else?
Yeah.
So do you mind sharing your coach's name?
Yeah, my coach's name is Jamie Jones. She's fantastic. She lives in Santa Cruz right now. But she's phenomenal. Actually, the first company that I worked for, the startup real estate company that I first got recruited into, she was on staff there as sort of like a coach for everyone who was there. So I got to work with her every day for an entire year, and it was spectacular. So if any of you are looking for sort of like a life coach, she is amazing, really good. And it's life coaching, but it's also sort of, you know, it's sales coaching, but from a really genuine, and, you know, a lot of this sort of strength training stuff and focus on your strengths all come from her. So she's fantastic. Yeah.
I want to add something real quick that I really want to also highlight is, you know, with networking and growth and how do we bring ourselves back up. One thing that I've been doing now for a long time is I have a support group of agents who happen to be here. There's 4 of us, and we meet every single week, and we talk, we support each other, we set goals, and we've been doing it, I don't know, like, 3 years? Eric and Cheryl and Rosie. We're in different companies, and we're there to just help lift each other up. And so in the mindset of networking, this is another way to network on a closer level, but it's also, you become really, really close to these people, and it's a really trusting environment, which, you know, not on the life coach kind of thing, but it is like that, because we really need that support in our business. We can, you know, whether it be personal or whether it be professional, whatever it is, anything to help kind of move you to the next level. So I've got this group of really great agents who came to support me today as well, because that's what we do. We're here to support each other as well. So that's something else to think about with networking and business building and that sort of thing, is who's there to challenge you, who could be on a more local level that can help keep you going and keep you moving to the next week.
I did that too. Before I had a coach, I had for years a group. I stuck with people inside my own company, and I called it a commitments group, where each week it was about the prospecting and what have you done, what did you accomplish, what are the results. So it's efforts, and I can't remember what it was, efforts, accomplishments, results. What are your goals, what did you do with prospecting, and what were the results? And over time, that group evolved, and I like to keep it inside my own company, because we're not necessarily, it's less competitive. I mean, that's how that would, and I felt like I could be more open about what was going on. And it evolved to more problem solving, talking about challenges specific to our very hyper-local market. And again, it's like what I was saying, agents just are an unusual breed, and to be able to foster those intimate connections, those intimate professional connections, is just, it was profound, and it was enormously helpful and supportive to my business.
Erin, Agent Connections, I like that this is fed into this, because I just want to say by way of introduction of, I think one of the most beautiful things we can do that adds beauty to our own business and helps elevate the whole field is to nurture agent-to-agent relationships. So can you talk about that a little bit, Erin, of how you meet with people personally? But also I want to lead towards how you take care of the other agent through a deal when you're still representing the other side.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, clients come and go, but we're all going to be working with each other for years. So I think your commitment to your fellow agent is absolutely critical. And in the end, it's going to allow you to help serve your client better. I've had a lot of deals where I get the sort of quiet counter because I've got a great relationship with somebody, and they're like, I know you're solid, I know you're going to keep this together. Can your client come up 15,000 and we can put this deal together? So I think that's absolutely critical. And so, I mean, I think in general, a really great perspective on life and a critical one is seeking a win-win resolution. And I think that if you approach this business from that perspective, and if you coach your clients accordingly, you know, if you get one of those clients, like there are clients out there who are purely focused on, I want to win at the expense of the other side, that's what I want. I would dump that, because I think that's just not a good space to be in. But if you coach your client to take the other side's position into consideration, it's going to help you to write an offer or to put together a deal where it's all just going to work. Because at the end of the deal, everybody wants to feel good about it. You don't want a buyer that feels like they can't call the seller and ask about, you know, this pipe that's in the backyard and where it connects to or something like that. Like, you want to have a good relationship. So agent-to-agent relationships are critical, and I try to be very open and sharing. I think it's really important that we depend on each other. You know, I tend to share a lot of information when it comes to, you know, market knowledge and what's going on as far as how many offers were on a property, if I'm the listing agent, sort of where the price went, because I think that's critical information. Yeah, I mean, there's some agents who are really tight-lipped. They will not tell you how many offers they got, or they won't give you any kind of indication on where the property is trading. And for me, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because especially in this market, I mean, how many deals have we done this year that had any contingencies, you know? And then if you're going up against something and there's the perfect comp that just traded last week, you know, and like, give some indication and help your fellow agent out, because you might be on the other side where they're going to need that information as well. I mean, sometimes your sellers will explicitly instruct you not to say anything to anybody, and there's certain situations where that's really appropriate, where you shouldn't say anything. But in general, I try to be really open and sharing with the information, and it's just like this right here. You know, I think that, like I said, we're all going to be doing this together for a long time. Clients are going to come and go, so our relationships are in some ways more important than our relationships with individual clients.
Anything else to share about inter-agent?
You were talking about how somebody will give you, well, I'm sharing the counterpart, where I recently had a listing where we had multiple offers, and just, it's all about the agent. I mean, it really wound up being not just about the agent, but about the caliber of the buyers. And, you know, like I like to say, actually somebody else gave me this phrase, but I want to be able to see the whites of their eyes when I do open houses. I want to know how sincere and genuine these buyers are. And the quality of their agent makes a difference. And the last deal that I did, this agent, one of the competing agents, she was just a train wreck. The offer was poorly crafted, the buyer wasn't prepared, it just was not good. And he had the better offer, but I went back to the other guy, and because he was a solid guy, and I knew I was serving my seller in doing that.
Happily agree with what they both said. I have nothing else to add.
Let me take a new direction with you, Chris, off agents. I might get us back there again later, but let's talk about network aspirations. Like, I hear what you're saying, Cece, about, you know, I only want people who like me and who I like, and those are who I'm going to deal with, and that's beautiful. But sometimes we start out in the business, and the only people we know are our Orchid Club. So we start there, but we have this idea of that we would like to get to a neighborhood sphere. How do you ever target your network or try to move your network from where it is to a different level, or is that ever part of your aspiration development?
I wouldn't call it an aspiration development, it's just kind of a natural evolution. I mean, when I started out, I didn't really know a lot of people, so I tried to join a BNI group. There wasn't a BNI group, so I started one. Then I hated the BNI group. I wanted to be with just women, so I started a women's networking group. So I would seek out or create